Hey everyone, I had an idea. I thought, as a way of shamelessly promoting my GoFundMe, which is going to help me pay for tuition for the international stunt school that I've got accepted to, that's going to be happening this July through mid August, as well as moving costs for going off from Seattle to Las Vegas, where I'm going to be going to a master's program with UNLV. Um, I thought that I would make a quick video to kind of give everybody a rundown of what my experience was auditioning for grad schools. Now, um, I'm going to do my best to keep it short and sweet, but I do tend to prevaricate and ramble a whole lot. This is maybe my fifth attempt making this video, and every single time it's been like I stopped maybe halfway last time. Here I'm doing it again, wasting time. Anyway, I stopped maybe halfway through the story time, and it was already 10 minutes long. So fingers crossed it's shorter this time. So from the beginning, um, I've been getting ready for grad school, and this year, or grad school auditions, and this year it was this week or so, 2 weeks maybe before my first audition, which would have been for USC. And my audition was in Chicago, and I was meeting with my acting coach, and uh, he asked me if I was considering ERDAs. And ERDAs are this great big cattle call that you can audition for, as many as like 40 to 60 programs throughout the country, well, and even throughout the world, even all at once, which really cool thing. I love cattle call auditions. You get to do ostensibly a bunch of auditions with one go, which really can take some of the tedium out of auditioning. Um, and as well as is really exciting because you get to feel like your audition is more like something like one of my professors in college, Michael Harding, would tell me. He would in his audition class he would say it's helpful to think of auditions not as like an audition where you're um, really want the thing. It's more like here's your captive audience and here's 5 minutes of the Andrew Bullard show. A little bit different. The Erdas they only give you 2 minutes, but I digress. Which 2 minutes is a crazy short amount of time to. Anyway, digressing. um, so that's what the Erdas are, and I told him no, I hadn't been considering it. I was mostly considering UNLV, Yale, not UNLV, excuse me, USC, Yale, Juilliard, and NYU. And he suggested that, I give it consideration. And then I looked into it, and it turned out that while they had closed the applications for slots at the IRDA, they were going to accept walk in auditions. And those dates happened to be the same weekend I was going to be in Chicago for USC. So it felt like okay, no, something's really lining up. Something's working out. So I moved my flights and this hostel. The dates I was staying at this hostel, which in and of itself was its own experience. I mean, anyway, that's a tangent I'm not going to go on. But I got there. I woke up really early, and you know hundreds of people all over the place. It was this whole it was at this Hilton in downtown. They were using all of the conference rooms and some of the like office rooms, um, and there's hundreds of other folks looking to audition for grad schools, and even some undergraduate programs as well were there, and it's one of those things where you think that since everybody wants this and there are limited amount of slots, there would be like this sense of incredible competition, and that could make people uh, be really cold and potentially even like mean or nasty at one another, but it was the exact opposite. Everybody was eager to like meet each other and like chat about this thing that we all really love more than anything else in the world. um, and there was this blind faith that everybody would have for one another, um, in wishing each other good luck with our auditions, even as we would be lining up to go and get into the room. Now, once I got my chance, I got my the first day I did the IRTA membership schools, um, which are they just there are the non-members and then guest auditions. It's essentially the same kind of audition. But so I walk in, and that first day, it was a pretty edifying experience already. I got two callbacks out of a room that maybe there were 23 people, which felt pretty good. One of which is the school that I'm going to be going to, UNLV, which was so strange going into that interview, because it turns out I actually know the head of the program. I had met him before through Michael Harding, again, my one of my professors in college, who's a good friend of his. They work together at the Southern Utah Shakespeare Festival all the time, and it turned out I had forgotten, and luckily so had um, he being the head of the program at UNLV, forgot that we'd already met before in my undergrad, and he had asked me straight out of college if I would audition for the program, which in hindsight is just neat, I guess. And then I also met with the University of Essex East 15, which is a school out in Essex, UK, which was cool. And then the next day, I had the guest audition slots. I went, and I just since you only get 2 minutes at IRTA's, and I'd been preparing primarily for four other schools for whom I was going to be auditioning for separately and specifically. I could only do one monologue because these the audition requirements for these other schools are they give you more time, and they're asking you to present more pieces. So I did a different monologue the second day just because, oh yeah, I figure, all of this is just icing on the cake. I'm gonna go and do one that like isn't in my primary two of the four that I was working on, but I one that like I have such a soft spot for. It's from dark comedy by Martin McDonagh called Cripple of an Ishman, which is actually a show I did in college. Um, just very fun, very very fun. Anyway, so I got done with that, and they go and once they finally posted the callback list, I was going through and taking pictures of each of the places that I got called back, and I got 19 callbacks, which was incredibly edifying, and really like, after a couple of years when everything was shut down, and then, the first year trying to get into grad school, admittedly an incredibly prestigious and difficult school to get into, it was starting to feel like a sense of, after, not being able to perform for a long time because of COVID, and not really like doing the work in the same way that you do in a scholastic environment, like, because professionally you're working towards a product and you have a tighter deadline typically. It started to feel like, man, I've been doing this all my life, but do I know what I'm doing anymore? Like, it was, and so to go and audition and get that much interest, that many people. So I spent, they posted the callbacks list at 3 o'clock, and I spent from 4 o'clock when they started the interviews and callbacks. I spent from 4 o'clock till 11:30 that night, just back to back to back to back, doing callbacks. One of the coolest of which I do want to make a special note of was for the University of Arkansas. Um, they were running late for most of their auditions, and it was kind of the last one, and so they had this idea that they pull me in with this other guy, and we would do just kind of the interview and chat portion of the callback together, and then I would leave the room or he would leave the room, and then we do the more acting part. And it was it was so cool. It's one of those things. Those of you who are watching this, who are performers of any kind, or probably just anybody can get this to some degree. But we just sat in this room and we talked for like, the callbacks are only supposed to be like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and we sat and talked for maybe an hour and 20 minutes, just talking about ourselves, and theater, and just like really, it's this thing that you do a lot in college, I think, probably for any whatever you do, but these late nights where you get to spend a lot of time just talking about the thing that you care most about in this world, the thing that, like, for those of us who are artists, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like I'm knocking other professions. And for anybody who, just for people like who genuinely feel like they have a thing they're supposed to be doing with, that's, reel that back. Oh my God. Anyway, just a thing, we just talking about only the things that we truly, truly care about, and things that we're so passionate about. And sometimes you don't get to just sit around and talk to that capacity, and certainly not with complete strangers. It was so cool. And also the other guy who I was in there with, I had seen him kind of all day, just kept running into him at like different callbacks, or just like we were in the same group together for the initial auditions. And he's just very cool, nice person, a lot of energy, really, like, really cool guy. I made some friends also that weekend, which was incredible. And so, then to walk away, and I've had 21 callbacks in 2 days, and then the next day was my USC audition, which um, was an eye-opening experience, in that I found out that even if I did get into USC, I wasn't sure that I would want to go to USC. Just because it did give me the greatest vibes, I'll say. I'll try to be, um, I don't know what the word I want is. But, you know, then from there I had, a couple more auditions that I had to do virtually. And, just since then and after that, I've been hearing from programs, and I mean, to get what I was so excited to hear from UNLV, because they're a program that I really, really liked. Um, they make a good offer. Teaching is part of their pedagogy, which is cool, because you're never going to learn that you don't know something quicker than when you have to teach it, I think. Um, and I'll be closer to home than I've been in, gosh, 6, 7 years, which, you know, on a slightly tangential note, my twin brother got married this year. Congratulations, Brandon and Jamie. And I've been, as a part of that experience, I just felt like, I really want to make time for family in a way that I haven't necessarily been prioritizing. So being closer to home will be really exciting. Um, and just again, just feeling like being reaffirmed in the way that this experience has done for me has been really uh, reassuring, um, and galvanizing, in that, I've known my whole life basically that I want to be a performer for a living. Um, and I've been doing it now for most of my life. If you take it all the way back to middle school, I mean, even farther back. I mean, one of my earliest family memories around being a performer is we were in elementary school. We were doing the Billy Goat's Gruff. I remember I had one line. I was really excited about it, and we do it. I was doing it at the dinner table. I don't remember what the line is. My mom could tell you verbatim. I'm so sure, but it's like something, and then something about the trolls under the bridge not being polite, and then like a sharp bow. And I did the sharp bow at the dinner table and just slammed my head full bore into the table. And I got the biggest goose egg I've ever had in my life. Still today, was a wrestler. I'm a rock climber. I do a lot of dangerous things. I do circus arts, and I've never had just a oh man, I had horn growing out of my head. And so all that to say, I've been performing for a very long time, and I don't know where I was going. I've been performing for a very long time, and there it is, and to be reassured that I'm on the right path. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Was has been invaluable to me, and I truly, truly believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And come hell or high water, I'm going to be doing this with my life. And so, kind of to wrap it up, just as a kind of like, here's little like fun little snippet information. Though I will be going to UNLV, it's also very cool to be able to announce that I was accepted into the University of Essex, the Royal Birmingham Conservatory, um, the Savannah College of Arts and Design, um, as well as Columbia, Chicago. Um, and I fully expect to be hearing from more schools as time goes on. But I think I know where I'm going. And so, once again, for those of you who have made it to the end of this, geez, nearly 20-minute video, thank you so much for sitting in with this story time with me. For those of you who have already donated to the GoFundMe, or for those of you who have liked or shared it or boosted its social media presence in any way that you have, or in any way you have, thank you so much. This means the world of me. I will figure out a way to make this happen one way or another. But I'd really like to not have to take out loans if I can avoid it. So please give what you can. If you can't give, totally understand. I already feel a little weird about asking for money in this capacity, but it would make a huge difference in my life, and hopefully I'll be able to then pay it forward in the future. But again, if you can't donate anything, please share this video, get it boosted any way you can. Share my link to my GoFundMe. Anything you guys can do, that would be incredible. So much for a short video, but genuinely, thank you guys. Thank you so much. This is going to be really exciting. So thank you for taking part in it in any way you guys can. Cheers.